It's not going to last. More details on that soon.
Thanks very much, Nate. Turning to the Voice to Parliament referendum, and support for the Yes case continues to decline, with the latest national polling showing more than 50% of voters saying they will be voting no. Well, one South Australian senator who has joined the No campaign is Arundel woman Karen Liddle, and she joins us now from Parliament House. Senator, good morning and welcome to News Breakfast.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers.
And we're just talking about those opinion polls that suggest at this point the No campaign would be successful. Is that going to feel like a win for you?
Well, I think the Prime Minister has had many occasions in the last 12 months to read the mood and separate constitutional recognition from voice. And I think I've held the position for a very long time that it is unfortunate that we are looking at this from a win-lose proposition. Nobody wins from this referendum being conducted in this way and in such a divisive way.
There's been a lot of talk about whether the debate, the result, would set back reconciliation efforts in this country. What do you think would happen if the referendum fails?
Well, we've heard these outrageous claims that reconciliation would be dead if there's a no vote. Yet I asked the CEO of Reconciliation Australia, who said, no, that would not be the case. So I think we have to be careful to recognise that the world won't end after this referendum. The work will continue regardless of the result to improve the lives of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. That must happen, and I think that should be the focus of everyone who is involved in this discussion. That's really what we want to do here, is be committed to improving the lives of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
If people are thinking they're not going to vote yes to this referendum because they're going to follow what Peter Dutton has suggested, your leader, that he'll put forward a second referendum, what are they actually getting with that? What are the details of this second referendum? Well,
the Coalition has supported for a very long time constitutional recognition, and I've supported as an individual recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in the Constitution, and that's what would be put to the Australian public. I think there is, certainly in the conversations I have when I move around Australia, but also in South Australia, including spending a bit of time in those remote and regional areas, people want change, but even in those areas they have observed that this is not the way that they expect change will occur for them. What they want is accountability, and they want it now.
But the thousands of people who met in the lead up to the Uluru meeting and the statement from the heart dismissed the idea of recognition only. So why are they not being listened to by you and your colleagues?
Well, according to the census, there are nearly 900,000 Indigenous people in Australia, according to that census. So that's a very small number to be asking. And when I travel around, people don't talk to me.
But they were representatives, weren't they? Wasn't that the point? You know, they've got representatives of those people. That's all you'd be doing as well, wouldn't you?
Well, some of them were hand-picked, and some of them were brought in because they were a part of a process. And I question the process that actually occurred that enabled those people to have that conversation. We also hear that meeting represented somehow as the Constitutional Convention. That was not that either. And I've spoken to traditional owners from Uluru who were very concerned about the fact that they attended that meeting. They even danced at that meeting, and they were represented in the marketing campaign as if they were supportive of the voice element. They do not.
Senator Liddle, why should people believe that the Coalition would make moves on this when you didn't in your 9 years in government? Why should they believe that there'll be a second referendum?
Well, I think when you look at this, is actually not just about constitutional recognition. This is about embedding voice forever within our nation's document, and I've always been a believer that the nation's document is not where it belongs. If the Prime Minister was so committed to the voice being the answer in the way the model is presented, he should legislate it.
Yes, but you now raise this, Peter Dutton's now raised this option of a second referendum, so why should people believe that will happen when it didn't happen while you were in government?
Well, I've been in the Parliament for just over 12 months, and I've always been committed to that, so I'll continue those conversations. He has said that publicly, that he will support a referendum. That is not what the Prime Minister has done. He has presented this all or nothing, no compromise proposition and told us he's not going to pursue voice and he's not going to pursue constitutional recognition if it's lost at referendum. That's unfortunate.
When do you think Australians would have the appetite for a second referendum, given it's been a quarter of a century since the last one?
Well, I think Australians have an appetite for recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples in the Constitution. They also have an appetite for improving outcomes for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, just not in the way this no compromise proposition has been presented to the Australian people. And it has been the Prime Minister that determined that time frame and the nature of progressing this to referendum.
It's not hard to find too many John Farnham fans around the place, but what do you think his ad, the use of his song, will do for the Yes campaign?
Well, it's a very big marketing campaign, and despite having a great song, some great images, in any advertising, regardless of what it is, just because they're selling a message and they've got lots of celebrities, they've got a great jingle, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you.
All right, Senator Little, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.